greatest signature bottles ever.
Yeah.
Well, let's do another toast in case the first one wasn't good.
All right, here's to a successful project.
Huge success so far.
Anyway, I met Royce at a local bar that we play at, and we have a lot of good musicians that come by there. And Royce has a couple of these vintage guitars that he'll tell you about. And we decided to just get together with some of those musicians and do a jam so Royce could see those guitars in action, because I guess, Royce, you don't really play that much.
I've tried to play. I enjoy trying, but my skills will not pay tribute to a 54 Strat. Let's just put it that way.
All right, so let's just get right into it. So tell us about these guitars. And you have a nice amp that goes with it as well, which we also used.
Yeah. In the beginning, it started out, phase one was I contacted your buddy, Manny, and needed to get the amp serviced. It'd never been serviced ever since 1955. That's the tremolo.
So what year is the amp? Tell
It's
us.
a 55 5E9. And
It's Fender, right?
It's a Fender, yeah. And it's in pristine shape. It may be in better shape than the 54 Strat, which that's arguable. But I knew it didn't work properly. I knew it needed a tube job and probably general cleaning, tightening, and service. So I took it to Manny. He agreed to take care of it for me, quite happily, and it started there. But then I needed to hear the guitar through the amp. And that's when I reached out to your buddy, Steve Suarez, had him come to the house. He had a couple hour jam session with it, and it sounded amazing. Ann and I, my fiance, had a wonderful time. So as this thing evolved, there was not a plan to make a video. It was just a series of wonderful events and meeting of different people that continued to give me ideas that this guitar has lived its life under a bed, in a closet, and now in my gun safe. And a 70-year-old instrument that maybe should be in a museum, but it never got to sing. Nobody ever released its soul, if you think that an instrument can have a soul.
No, they do.
And it hurt me that it never made music that people could see, hear, and listen to. And one idea led to another. And so we endeavored on this. So along the way, there was a lot of people that came in. After Manny Cahill got the amp going and Steve played it, the guitar still had the original flat round strings from 1954 on it, which is crazy, but it's true. So I took it up to Lay's Guitar Shop in Akron, had a great day with Dan Shin, and he set it up, he checked it out, and really, quite frankly, I was thrilled that he got to see it, because the guitar was originally purchased in Akron, we believe from Henry's Music and Jewelry, and subsequently he set it up, put some strings on it, and it just kind of evolved one little thing at a time. So it was cool to go up there, and I'm like, hey, look, if Dan Shin and Lace Guitar Shop can shave Joe Walsh's Les Paul and do work for Dan Arbach and many others.
That's the Black Keys, right?
The Black Keys, yeah. Is good enough for me. So it's kind of a neat thing that it got to go back to Akron, and Dan's partner didn't get an opportunity to see the guitar that day. He invited me up the following week to do a little show and tell, and one of his guitar players, Nick, played it through the tremolo amp, and it just rolled on, and I'm like, I gotta do a YouTube video. I can't play, I'm not a YouTuber. Reached out to you guys, and now here we are. And then the final really beautiful piece of this story is last week, after reading my Vintage Guitar magazine and seeing the classics section, I reached out to Ward Meeker at Vintage Guitar magazine, told him a little story, told him what I had, and lo and behold, following day I get a phone or an email, and he said, yeah, I agree, let's do this, let's work together, etc.
Cool.
So it very much was a whole series of small events that led to what now is probably going to be a pretty cool, incredible, wonderful story.
Right, that's awesome. Well, just to add to what Royce said is that, we play a jam session every Thursday at a bar in Massillon, Ohio called TJ Dillon's, hosted by Jan Carasello and Naturally Blue, Steve Suarez, Rick Cunningham on bass, Nick Voulgares, who comes in as one of the jammers, and myself on drums. We decided to get together and do a bunch of songs utilizing Royce's instruments. I have a little studio here called Over the Hill Studio in my basement, and I like to do videos with friends, small time stuff, but it's fun, and we get together. And so we got together here a couple weeks ago. We got together here and jammed through a bunch of tunes, and I put them together. And they're just fun. We're just a bunch of local guys having a good time with some classic instruments that Royce was kind enough to let us use. You'll see it following this.
Oddly enough, let's not forget, I found out after I talked to Rick after this session, the bass player, that when he was a teenager, he actually worked at Lay's. So
right.
There's been a whole bunch of
little coincidences
and things, which, all you got to do in life is sit down and talk to people, and you realize how much commonality there is.
So what about the 94? You didn't say much about the 94.
Well, the 94 was random. I was killing time on internet, seller, and while I was eating lunch one day, and I saw this 94 new old stock, and it was listed as never played. And I looked at it, I go, that would be really cool, because I could put that in a stand and look at it, and not have to worry
Pretty guitar.
as much.
They both look very similar, by the way. Almost hard to tell apart.
But I wasn't going to pull the trigger on it. Sadly, 4 hours later, my fiance got a phone call that one of her family members had passed 30 minutes away from the guitar shop. And I went, it's just too weird.
And where is this guitar shop?
It's in Noblesville, Indiana. See the bumper sticker.
Right.
Kevin was kind enough to discuss it with me. And over the phone, we made a gentleman's agreement deal. And that he was agreeable with. And he promised not to send Guido after me if I did my part of the deal, which I did. So here we are now today with all these little random coincidences and happenstances talking about this project.
Well, I think, really cool. We all had a good time doing it, and I hope you all enjoyed the stories, and now it's time to get to the music. So let's do another toast.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Thank you,
Good
Alan.
to know you and good to meet you, and here's to more music.
It's been a pleasure.
All right.